How's it going, everyone? We have to talk about some more disappointing news in this video. After the closure of Mimimi Studios, the studio that brought you Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shogun, and more recently Shadow Gambit, we have another major closure of a studio. This one is a massive one, so we'll talk all about the closure of Volition Studios. Outside of that, we also have an update on Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4 potentially coming to PS5, and Borderlands Collection Pandoras box is out. The price is absolutely egregious outside of, the launch discount is decent, and then if you own any Borderlands content, it might be something worth checking out, but I do want to highlight that. But first of all, really news that took the gaming world by storm yesterday. Volition has officially shut down. This is the same studio that brought you Saints Row, all of the Saints Row games, Agents of Mayhem, and of course Saints Row 2022 will be a PlayStation Plus essential title this month, later this month. So interesting timing how all this is going down. The Volition team has proudly created world-class entertainment for fans around the globe for 30 years. We've been driven by a passion for our community and always worked to deliver joy, surprise, and delight. This past June, Embracer Group announced a restructuring program to strengthen Embracer and maintain its position as a leader in video game industry. As a part of that program, they evaluated strategic and operational goals and made the difficult decision to close Volition effective immediately. To help our team, we are working to provide job assistance and help smooth the transition for our Volition family members. We thank our customers and fans around the world for all the love and support over the years. You will always be in our hearts. Obviously, heart goes out to anybody affected. I already saw some tweets out there, and whenever you see a studio closure, the main number one thing is the developers that are now looking for work. Hopefully everybody lands on their feet, and hopefully the closure of Volition, it's streamlined so everybody can find work, but I know the games industry is a volatile sector to be in, so, heart goes out to everybody affected with this. Now, as far as Volition shutting down, even though the lackluster reception for Saints Row 2022 was obviously there, I really did expect that wouldn't have affected them that much, given that it's still an IP that's very popular, and Volition is a pretty well-known studio. I'm not going to say they're the most well-known studio in the world, but I feel like if Volition's name is attached to a game, it does mean something, and, in the games industry, it is a lot of what have you done for me lately, and unfortunately with Saints Row 2022, and even going back to Agents of Mayhem, those games were fumbles. Now, with Saints Row, I also hope that they did get a nice, healthy check from the Epic Games Store, because that game was an Epic Games Store exclusive for a year. I don't know how much of the development cost that recoups, probably not a significant amount, given, these games take quite many $1 million to develop these days. But yeah, just sad news, and with Volition, their highs are always going to be attached to a lot of the earlier Saints Row titles, obviously pre-Saints Row 2022, when you look at Saints Row the 3rd, Saints Row 4, those games are relatively well received. I never thought of them as incredibly engrossing titles that I got immersed into the narrative or anything like that, but if you're talking about open world games where you can just have nonsensical fun, and guess what, sometimes in gaming we need that. Not every game has to be a tear-jerker, emotional roller coaster. I don't need Last of Us in every game that I play. I don't need a God of War. I don't need a, XYZ game in every game I play. Sometimes you need a game like a Just Cause, like a Saints Row, that's just nonsensical, good old-fashioned fun. And even with Saints Row 2022, yes, I did say don't spend more than $5 of that game, but I also said that it is some nonsensical open-world fun if you're into that. If you have a long day at work, if you're just tired of, the emotional roller coasters in gaming, Saints Row 2022 is a game you can pop on, and you can have some low-key fun. Now, let's be real, it is a game that very, very much under-delivered, and a lot of people had reservations with that game when we saw, the gameplay initially, and then ultimately the game didn't turn out well. So it is a sad note to go out. You can check it out on PlayStation Plus Essential next month, but, if you do decide to subscribe or keep your subscription after the price hike, but nevertheless, there you go with that. Unfortunate news again. Hopefully everybody in Volition finds their footing, or everybody that was a part of Volition finds their footing. And Embracer Group, their investments, they got a lot of cash, but, man, sometimes I wonder what they are doing. So, that's a story to follow as well. Moving on from that, the ESRB, the best video game leaker on planet Earth, has rated The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4 for PlayStation 5. It looks like PS5 ports of these great JRPGs are going to be coming. Keep in mind that Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4 I definitely know people that have mixed receptions towards these games because of where the narrative went. I think generally speaking, everybody loved Cold Steel 1 and 2. I personally did. Cold Steel 2 I thought was tremendous. Cold Steel 1 was really good as well, but it was a lot of setting the table for Cold Steel 2. Cold Steel 3 and 4 I still thought were really good. Like, yo, The Legend of Heroes has become one of my favorite franchises in all of gaming, and that is not hyperbole. Like, I love these games, and, you know, I kind of jumped on the bandwagon fairly late. Like, I knew they were around for a long time, but I started with Cold Steel 1, really, as far as becoming a fan of the franchise. Like, I played some of the older games, but Cold Steel 1 was the one that I was like, okay, this is a game with a ton of depth, and the narrative and the world building is stellar. Now, the world building has to be stellar when you've got 8 million games that are 80 plus hours each, and it's a significant undertaking with these games, and I can definitely understand if some people find these to just be absolutely daunting, because you have the Sky Trilogy to play, you have the Crossbell arc to play, then you get to Cold Steel, and now you have Trails into Reverie as well. Like, there is a absurd amount of games, but each one is so good. There's a lot of debate on how the game should be played. Well, generally speaking, I think everybody agrees that if you can play the games in their release order, so play the Sky Trilogy, then play the Crossbell arc, then play Cold Steel 1 through 4. The issue is the Sky Trilogy not readily available on all platforms. Crossbell did get ported recently, but those games are definitely dated. Cold Steel 1 through 4, they're not technical juggernauts by any stretch of the imagination, but they were games on the PS3 and on the PS Vita as well, to be fair, but you know, they look okay for what they are, but the narratives in these games are so strong, and from that standpoint, I would strongly recommend it. Like, I don't think it's a cardinal sin if you start with Cold Steel 1, but like, yo, the Legend of Heroes superfan will hold me at gunpoint if I say that, so like, you know, do whatever the hell you want to do, but the games are great, and if you're into JRPGs, I would definitely give them a shout, especially if you can figure out a way to play the Sky Trilogy. You know, they're available on Steam. You don't need a high-end PC to play those games, and they're great. Lastly, I do want to know, Borderlands the Pandoras box collection has dropped on PlayStation, on the PlayStation Store. It's listed at $150. By the time you guys are watching this video, hopefully the price point has been adjusted, because it's going to have a launch discount at $60. Even at that $6 price point, I feel like it's overpriced. Now, this gets you everything. Borderlands, Borderlands 2, Borderlands the pre-sequel, Tales from the Borderlands, Borderlands 3, and new Tales from the Borderlands, as well as all of the game's respective add-on content. Now, that is a gigantic amount of content. However, even if you drop $60 on it, like, I don't find it to be something that I would definitely pick up. Now, if you do own one of these games, the price drops to $30 as an upgrade. At that point, like, that's pretty decent. It's just that I would be selective of what Borderlands, like, I always recommend Borderlands 1 and 2. I think those games are great. Pre-sequel is alright, but you get Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel in the Handsome Collection, $9.99 with all of those games' respective DLC outside of one tiny piece of content for Borderlands 2. So Borderlands 1, 2, and the pre-sequel I think are worthwhile, and the original Tales from the Borderlands is worthwhile as well. New Tales from the Borderlands, I wasn't a fan of. Borderlands 3, wasn't a fan of. It would have been kind of cool if they added Tiny Tina's Wonderlands into this collection as well, but I understand, you know, we can't all have nice things. They're not going to drop that game, you know, as an early 2022 title into the Pandora's box collection. I get it, but, I don't know. I think that would have added a lot of value, and I think at that point, like, a lot of people would have been like, yo, $30 to get Wonderlands and a bunch of other content? Maybe I'll check that out. At this point, I think it's a little overpriced, but this is something that in the future they could offer on Plus Extra. I mean, they're going to be fleecing a lot more money out of people, so why not offer, you know, a big collection like this? I don't think that would be too tall of an ask, and in the future, it's going to be on sale like 75% off. And my math isn't that great right now. What would be 75% of 150? 15, and 750. I think it would be 37.50 if my math is correct. Maybe just make it a clean 80% off, so it's just $30. But yeah, I digress. I imagine we'll see that at some point in the future. But that'll do it for me. Again, super sad news about Volition shutting down. Heart goes out to everybody affected, and hopefully they'll find their footing and continue doing great work, because Volition did do great work in the past, and I'm sure the developers can do great work in the future as well. Cold Steel 3 and 4, the greatest leakers in the world. The ESRB has rated those titles for PS5. Chances are that's going to be coming fairly soon, probably by the end of the year. Usually with these ports, they have a pretty quick turnaround time, so we'll see about that. And Borderlands Collection Pandora's Box, available now on PlayStation Store. $150, should be $60. Probably would wait on a deep discount for this, but that'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.